All right, so we're going to start in 3,
Okay.
2, 1. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DeLoco Podcast. Guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. Guys, you can listen to DeLoco Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can catch this exclusive interview with the Batman of San Antonio on YouTube. Guys, please subscribe to DeLoco Podcast on YouTube. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Batman of San Antonio, thank you for agreeing to come on the DeLoco Podcast. I appreciate you so very much.
No, hey, thank you for lighting up the signal, man. I had to answer.
Of course. So, guys, of course, you guys already know. Before I start, I texted Batman a couple of days ago just to see what his favorite beverage was, and the Batman's favorite beverage is Sprite. So I had to make sure he felt at home. I don't need him to beat me up here on my podcast. He's suited up, so I don't need him to beat me up. So I'm gonna open him up a refreshment. Guys, give me a second. I don't need him to beat me up right now.
Thank you, sir. Cheers, everybody.
Should be good right here. Oh yeah. All right. So everybody's been asking because the promo video that I posted, everybody was freaking out. So I think what makes it the most is, like everyone says, the cinematic music will make anything look very dramatic.
Oh yeah.
So guys, I'm just gonna tell you exactly how it happened. So of course I did some graphics for you. It's been a long time that I've done graphics for you, but I actually met you. The first time I met you was off of I-10, off of that Heroes and Fantasies. Mm-hmm. So I met you there the very first time, and I think you had a different suit.
Oh yeah.
There was different people there, and that was the very first time I met you. And what's it called? So I was a little like, it's been a while. I made him a graphic back then, so maybe he's a little too busy. So when I had messaged you, I had messaged him on Instagram first. Mm-hmm. And I messaged you maybe like on a Saturday, and I waited like a whole week. I'm like, he didn't message me back. I'm like, man. So then I'm like, man, why did I message him the first time? Like, how did I even contact him? So I said, well, let me check Facebook. So lo and behold, I checked Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I messaged the Batman. I'm like, hey. And even on that, when I had my solo podcast, guys, I called out the Batman and told him, hey, I want you on the podcast. And he saw it. And then, of course, he sent me a video back, stating, hey, I'm going to come on the podcast. You called me out, and I'm going to show up. So I think that's what made everybody a little freaked out. They're like, oh, man, this guy saw your video, so he's coming. So whether you want him to or not, it's too late for that. But no, I really, really do appreciate you coming in. I know you're a very, very busy guy, but there's a lot of people right now who've been asking me, like, do you know who he is? Like, have you seen him behind him? I'm like, honestly, I have not, and I don't think anybody has besides his little girl or whoever. I go, but I have never seen him. They're like, well, you're gonna ask him to take his man. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. But how did this whole persona of being Batman, how did this whole thing start for you?
Before I even do that, I want to apologize about taking so long to answer, because you actually ended up, Instagram wise, you ended up in my spam folder.
Oh no.
And I usually check that like once a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, be an influencer. I'm like, just delete. And I was like, I'm Gilbert. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, this is so long ago. I'm like, he probably forgot about me.
Yeah.
So apologies.
No, you're good.
No, the whole thing with Batman, obviously a character I've always admired and loved, starting back from the 66, Adam West, the late great Adam West. Yeah. Always had an affinity for Batman, Halloween, and the real turning point for me was about 17 years ago. I got struck by a girl who was texting and driving, speeding at night, and I had just kind of gone out for a walk after a really long day's work, and she crashed into me, while I was crossing the street, ready to go home, and pretty much cracked every bone on the left side of my body and left me for dead for the most part.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of at that moment that I knew life is short and you got to go after what you want. So, Batman was something that always kind of played in the back of my mind. It was something I would love to do, it wasn't so much of trying to be popular or be Instagram famous or anything like that, nothing like that. It was just to find one child, one family, one person that needed a hero, make them smile, cheer them up, put them back in a positive place, And that was it.
That was it.
And, the beautiful blessing was that I've met so many people and families, and I've been able to do this, and I've been just awarded the best emotional riches of my life out of something that could have been really, really tragic, and it's from something really bad. If you really look for it and you dedicate yourself, you can find a blessing in there somewhere.
Yeah, you can. And that's a crazy story. I didn't know that. That's something for someone to really want to, sounds like a Batman whole thing scenario. Batman's parents got killed, and he wanted to, do better for Gotham City. He wanted to do better. You wanted to do something better for San Antonio. You wanted to be a positive person within San Antonio, and that's one thing, guys. Guys, if you guys are wondering, he has no macanita here in his voice. That's his actual voice. So he suits being Batman. If you had me behind the voice, and be like, it's a little mexicanito. No, get the mask off of him. But he really suits it. But you've done so much for San Antonio. What is one of the top things that you've done? One of the biggest achievements that you've done here in San Antonio, that you can say, man, I'm very proud of doing that, or is it everything that you do?
Oh my God, you know what? To even try to rank it seems so unfair, because there's some events that don't have a lot of publicity. You get one or two people that show up, but it means something because they're there. But one of the things that just means the most to me was when I got to MC and speak at the Out of the Darkness Walk for suicide prevention and for the survivors that are left behind. And, I've done a lot of work with them before, and they said, hey, you know what? We want you to MC. We want you to just talk to the crowd. And me being myself, if you've ever been to any event that I've ever done, any kind of speaking engagement, I have never written a speech. I've never taken notes. To me, it's always just about the heart. When you say what's in here and it comes out, people feel it.
Yeah, people
they hear
it. Yeah, they do.
And so, to be there and to be surrounded by so many people that were just grieving in different stages of grief and try to unite everybody together, it was one of those moments that you realize that words have power. No matter what we do, we can either build somebody up or we can break them down. And sometimes we don't even mean to break people down. We can just say something just in passing, and we don't know, maybe that person that we're talking to that overheard us was having a bad day, and we just pushed them over the edge into something terrible. So it's always, just be mindful. So that meant a lot to me. And again, every other event that I do, they all have a special place in my heart, because at every event, something really special, something really cool, something really funny, something really magical happens. So it's always a blessing.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I really do like that. I like all the things that you do for the community. And guys, the Batman, he's just not roaming around. Of course, he's beating up your people that are breaking in your house and stuff like that, but he's actually making a difference within the community. Just to see the kids' faces when they see you, it makes a difference. Yeah, it really does make a difference. And I just recently saw you were somewhere this past week or weekend? What were you doing?
I was helping out my friends at South San. They were having a great, fiesta event. They were trying to raise money to stay within South San. And when they told me what they were doing, the money that they raise goes, towards a food pantry, to help the people out. Yeah. But most importantly, it goes for mental health awareness, because with COVID and everything, and the lockdown and multiple lockdowns and being, out of toilet paper and out of food and, gas prices and everything going crazy, man, it affects people. So this is for the students, the families, the teachers, the faculty, staff, everybody within South San, and that money goes to pay counselors, man. So if you live in the South San area, and you're like, what, I just need to talk to somebody, with the stress of just being a parent or, being a student or being a teacher, man, and having to go through all this stuff where, with the mask situation and it's just too much, that money that they were raising went to pay for that. So it's absolutely free for those families in the South San area. So when they told me that, I'm like, I'm on, man. I'm there.
Man, that's good. That's something for you to, there's a lot of things that you've done, but for that, I can. That's what I've always wanted to ask. What does it take, for the Batman to actually show up at certain events? Is it something? Does it have to be anything specifically?
No, it's just ask, man. So many people think well, there's a fee involved, and there is, if it's a birthday party or I have to do an event like that. Yeah. But if it's for the community, if it's for children, if it's to give back, it's as simple as contact me. And if I have that day, that hour, that afternoon free, then I'm going to be there.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Guys, I'm going to actually have Batman's all his information on when we go to commercial break. I'm gonna have that all linked up here and on the description below. You guys will be able to find the Batman. If you guys want to have the Batman at the party, I mean, right now he's only got half his get up on. But if you guys have not seen him in his full gear, I'm gonna put some photos up here right now so you guys can see. But this guy, when he puts the full thing on, this is full-fledged Batman. The voice, everything. I really do like everything that you do.
Thank
for
you.
San Antonio. Ever since I first met you, when I met you there, I mean, because my brother Gil, he is a very huge Batman fan, super big. So he loves the Batman. He loves the story behind it. He loves what he does, and I mean, this guy. I mean, I don't even really. He's my younger brother, right? And I mean, he really does like that story. And when I went and I saw you for the first time, and I saw what you're doing here. That's why I said right now, it sounds like similar things. I did not know that you were in that bad of a situation where you said, you know what, I'm going to make a difference. I need to make a difference. If I can do something to make a difference within San Antonio, I'm going to do it. Bruce Wayne, I mean, he made a difference. He's the only difference is, of course, you're probably a billionaire. You don't have to tell me any like Bruce Wayne. But the difference was that is, you know, he's fighting crime and he's trying to make a difference within Gotham. You're fighting crime, but you're fighting it in a different aspect. That's the way I see it. You're fighting in a different aspect by showing up, saying what you're saying, encouraging people, showing positivity. And for me, man, that's awesome. Anybody that is here in San Antonio, if you do not know who the Batman of San Antonio is, you are sleeping under a rock. And I'm so grateful that you're here and we can talk about it, because that's one of the main questions that I had in my mind. Like, how did this all start? Like, what really initiated you to become like the Batman? And it leads to my other question: do you do this full time, or is this something you do partially, or
this is what I do full time? You know, I have a full time job, which of course, you know, being a dad, and I have another grown up full time job, but I can squeeze in being Batman again full time. You know, so it's on, you know, being on social media, doing videos, you know, doing so much. And the funny thing is there's so much more I do that I can't post on social media.
Okay.
You know, there's, you know, visits and different things that I help people out with that people have asked, like, you know, can you please just, you know, this is personal, this is private, please don't do this. Or I've been asked by different organizations, you know, just keep this just between us. So there's things that people know, people that you know, that follow my page. Yeah. And then there's a whole other aspect that I'm not allowed to share with anybody, you know, and those mean a lot to me because those get very personal. You know, we open up to each other, and there's hugging, there's talking, there's tears, you know, and I wish that I could share it with everybody, you know, all the extent of that stuff, but, you know, out of respect for the people that I work with and that I'm helping out, you know, this is just something that you do because it's the right thing you do, and you don't want anybody to like pat you on the back for being a good person.
For being a good person. I totally get that, but I mean, that's a crazy schedule for you to have. I mean, you're a full-time dad, you know, a full-time job, and then you're full-time Batman. Yeah, that's crazy. I know when when was it, a couple of weeks ago, when the Batman movie came out? Oh yeah, and you're out there. I mean, basically all day long out there, and it's crazy. But to see people come, I mean, because I'm very I'm a big. You can probably tell I love DC, I love Marvel, I love all those things, and for people like me to see you there, it's like another level. You're like, oh man, this guy's here. You know what I'm saying? Which is gonna lead me to what people have been asking me. Okay, you're the Batman of San Antonio, right? What are your thoughts on the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson? Everybody was asking me, like, ask him. He's the Batman, so ask him. What do you think he thinks?
Like anybody, when I heard Robert Pattinson had been cast, I was like, no. And
see, I'm not the only one.
No, I was like, no, not Sparkles, not the Twilight guy. And I have a guy on my page. Shout out to Nate Flores. He's been with me since the beginning. Nate, thank you so much. We were going back and forth like, man, this is gonna be terrible. You know, this is gonna be horrible. Yeah. And you know, but of course, you know that's all kind of in joke and in jest and everything. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Let's see what he's got. You know, obviously, you know, the director picked him, so there's got to be something there. Yeah. You know, and my film repertoire of him ended at Twilight. And I will say, I have every Twilight movie. I own every one. Not because I think they're amazing, but I think they're like the best comedies in the world. You know, if I'm depressed and I need to laugh, I'm throwing in Twilight.
Oh my
you
God.
know? So I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna watch a couple other movies outside of that genre, you know, see what he did.
See what he does.
And you know, Lighthouse I thought was amazing. I'm like, okay, this guy might have something.
Yeah.
So when I saw what they brought to the screen and I saw the very, very raw beginnings of Batman, you know, he's not who we expect. He's not who we want him to be. We see he messes up. We see he stumbles. And I thought Pattinson did just a bang up job, man. He really, people like me that were his biggest detractors, like this guy's going to suck. He shut us up. And the best way he did it was just by being good, just by being a serious actor and taking it, you know, wasn't tongue in cheek. It was like, you know, this is a role. This is a guy who has, you know, mental problems. And he played it, you know, he played it the way I would have played it. And I was like, dude, there's no better compliment than that. You know, like everything I would have done in his situation, he did it. So I have no complaints on that movie. No,
that's
I
awesome.
think he did great.
Because everybody knows. So literally on one of my episodes that I had on my podcast, I literally talk about the entire like I'm thinking about it too. It's like, how in the world are you gonna bring this dude that is over there, pale as can be, pale as the color white, saying, Bella, please take my heart, to vengeance. Like, really? And I'm not going to lie. These people know, like, on my podcast, I talk about it. When I saw the trailer, the first one, I was like, yeah. But then when I saw the second one where it goes to that scene where he's, like, fighting all those dudes, I'm like, oh, man. Robert Pattinson, he's becoming Batman. This dude is, wow. Like, I was really stunned, like, I was like taken back. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe Robert Pattinson is gonna shut up all the haters, and he's gonna show them that he can play a serious, a very serious role. And I think he did, to the extent because he knew, and he knows, because he even said it, that he knows Batman is very important to people. Yeah. Like whether we want to believe it or not, but this whole, people say like it's fictional. It's not fictional. Like, it's not fictional to me. But I think him taking this role and being as serious as he did and taking it the way he did, I have to give him props. Like, I really do. I mean,
no, I agree, man. You know, and it was funny because, like you said, you know, when I saw the first trailer, I was like, okay, it could work.
Yeah, it could.
But then when I saw the Vengeance trailer, you know, when he's fighting, I'm like, all that anger and aggression, I could see him like visualizing the internet and all the people talking trash about him. Yeah. I'm like, he's beating us up. You know, like, shut up. I know what I'm doing. And like you said, man, it was really good. It was really well thought out. And I love the fact that the movie admits he makes mistakes and he still has to grow. You know, so for the people that still do, like, are on the fence and everything, well, he's not done. You know, Batman is one of those characters, you know, that always evolves. And you're right. You know, whether it's Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman or Spider-Man or anything, you know, these characters are so much more than just a cartoon or a comic book, you know. To a lot of people, you know, that may come from, you know, broken homes or single parent homes. Exactly. That's the barometer. Like, that's what they believe, like, a real man should be, you know, caring, and, you know, even if you're powerful, you should give back, and you should, you know, also know how to be gentle. You know, so it's morality tales, man, you know. So for a lot of people, you know, they're like, it's just a cartoon, man. He's not real. And I've had people like, you know, Batman's not real. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not real. There's a lot of stuff that's not real. Yeah. I'm like, you know, but if you can take pieces of that personality and make it into your own, then that's as real as it's going to get. Exactly. You know.
Exactly. That's the way I feel. And I mean, I don't care what you say. There's a lot of people that are very big fans. I mean, there's people that take it to, I mean, the extreme, and that's super, super cool to see these people going to these Comic-Cons and doing all kinds of things like that. That's super cool to see. But I'm glad you liked the movie. I mean, it's good. I mean, those that already heard me, I mean, I was taken back because, I mean, I had to kind of step back because at first I was like, man, why are they doing that? Man, they're ruining it. Like, But I think it's because, like we were saying, there's a perspective that we, the audience, have for Batman, and we expect that to be there, if not more. But speaking of which, I mean, what is your favorite? Like, who is your favorite Batman of all time? Like, throughout the years, all the Batmans that have been played, like, who is your favorite one that has played Batman?
Oh man, right now I've got to give it to Pattinson, but overall, for me, Christian Bale. You know, it's Christian Bale. I actually had a run-in with him at an airport.
Really?
One time, great guy.
Oh man.
And he's he's one of these guys that he's not really affected by fame or popularity. He's a very introverted guy. He's not one of these, big, larger than life. He just wants to be kind of left alone, left to his own thing.
Oh, wow.
And, when I saw him, he was like, hey, is this seat taken? And I was busy on my phone.
Yeah.
And I kind of look up. I'm like, yeah, no, go ahead. And then I really look up, like, oh man, it's Christian Bale. And I was like, hey, can I just say something to you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, you know what? Your portrayal of Batman was amazing. It really, it inspired me to, and I just told him real quick, like, to dress up as Batman, go to hospitals. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. And I happen to have a picture on my phone of the suit that he wore. I'm like, I just want to show you this. He grabs my phone. He's like, oh, that's brilliant. We look just like each other. We have the same jawline. And I was like, oh my God. So he's just kind of flipping through and he starts like looking at all the other pictures I have on my phone. I'm like, dude. And so he hands it back and I just tell him, like, I just want to say thank you. Can I shake your hand? Shake his hand. I didn't ask for a photo, because I didn't want to come off that creepy.
Yeah, come that creepy, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I got to go. That's my flight. And he got up and walked away. And I was like, best experience ever with an actor.
Man, that's awesome.
And they always say, like, don't meet your heroes because they're going to let you down.
Yeah.
Luckily, not. He didn't. He was really cool, not really standoffish, but he was like, just, you're here to have a seat. And I looked, I'm like, can I just tell you one thing? He's like, yeah, sure. And then it just happened,
Oh, man, that's awesome for you that you met Christian Bale. That for me and my brothers, that's one of our favorite trilogies, the Christian Bale ones. With the Heath Ledger, the Joker. That's another thing right now too that I'm going to talk to you about right now. So, but I think those Batmans are this Christian Bale is like one of my favorite ones. And my wife, she does not understand like how I can rewatch it. It's just like they're that good. Like they're super, super good. Yeah. I know at first she's not really to the type to watch DC movies, Marvel movies. The first time I took her to see when the first Avengers came out, she was like bored out of her mind.
Right.
But I think it's just because she didn't really grow up that way the way I did.
Yeah.
But there was a day where I was watching the Batman, the first one, the trilogy, the Batman Begins, and she was sitting here and she's like, man, what movie is that? It was like midway. What movie is that, man? It's really good. I'm like, why didn't you see which one it is? Why didn't you see which one it is? She's like, no way. I go, yes. I go, that's what I'm telling you. There's no way. It doesn't compare. There's other Batman movies that I love. I really do love. The one I hate is George Clooney. That's the one I don't like that. But we're not gonna get into that. But with Christian Bale, he's one of my favorite ones. But what do you think of that trailer that they released, the video that they cut out of the new Batman trailer, where you can like kind of see the Joker back there? What are your thoughts? Like, what do you think? Like,
I love that they released it, but I'm glad it wasn't a part of the movie.
And why is that? Like, why was that? Like,
because the Joker, when he's written right, he is a genius.
Yeah.
He's insane, but he is also he's actually so crazy that it makes him intelligent, and it would have spoiled the fact that the Riddler thought that he and Batman were working together. And that was the thing. That's supposed to be like the shatter moment, towards the end of the movie, where Batman realizes like, oh, this nut job thinks that we've been working together.
Yeah.
Like, he's been, setting everything up for me, and I've been helping him kill people. And that's the thing that starts, he becomes less vengeance and more Batman because of that revelation. Mm-hmm. And I think if we would have gotten that scene with Joker in the earlier parts, like they were talking about, like it was going to be at the end of the first act, I think it would have blown the movie. Oh. I think it would have blown people's mind to see the Joker, but I love the way that even seeing him, he's still a mystery because, it looks like the makeup wasn't quite done. At least that's what some people say. Yeah. I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
And he's always out of focus, which means that the world surrounding the Joker is a little bit askew. It's like looking at it through stained glass or blown glass. It just doesn't quite look that right. Something's wrong, but maybe you can't put your finger on it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh man, that was so great. And Matt Reeves even said, hey, you know what? This Joker was actually born with a deformity. Just like Conrad Veidt in The Man Who Laughs, where he was literally born that he can't stop smiling.
Yeah.
So when you see that, but he also kind of looked like he'd been, burned and thrown in acid and, a meth addict. You could see his nails just falling apart. And it gave it a very creepy vibe, very like Death in the Family, Joker Year One kind of thing. And that's why, like, yes, it's dark, and you probably don't want to take your little ones to go see it.
Yeah.
But for adults like us, who read those graphic novels, and we still keep up with it, like, man, what's somebody that twisted look like in the real world? Well, Matt Reeves just showed you. He's not going to be just a guy with white makeup, who laughs, red lipstick.
Exactly.
He's going to be messed up.
Yeah.
And he's even more messed up on the inside than what we see, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great perspective for you to see that the way the Joker is. Like, you can't really clearly see him, the world revolving around him. But I think this Joker here looks very, man, he looks very like, I mean, I don't know, he looks very raw, like very, there's like a demeanor to him that you can't put your finger on. But I think it's just that we are so expecting the Joker that we got with the trilogy that we saw.
Yeah.
Which, oh my God, that was like when I went to go see the movie the first time at the theaters, I think he did his job, because I was getting really mad when they were investigating him and he's punching him and he's just laughing and laughing. I'm like, dude, just answer him, and just that means he did his job.
Yeah.
That means he really did his job.
Yeah.
The Joker is there to make people really get pissed off. Basically, is what his job is to do.
Yeah, just to push your buttons.
Push your buttons to see how far he can really take you. And I don't know if you've seen it or not. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you're into the Batman animated series and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
God, yeah.
Have you seen The Killing Joke on Netflix?
Oh yeah.
When I saw the very ending of it, I was texting my brothers, what in the heck? It's a cartoon, right? But they made you think, like, the entire movie. I thought, oh, yeah, he's back alive. We just can't find him.
Yeah.
It ended up being who? He put a little chip right here, inserted him when he did what he did.
Yeah.
What I like about that movie is that they bring and they swoop in from the very last episode of the Batman animated series, and they swoop it in with this one. I thought that was so awesome for them to do that. And honestly, I think I don't know why they ended that show. It was super dope. I really liked it. I grew up watching that. Me and my brothers grew up watching that. And I think everything has a purpose and a reason why it finishes and why it ends, right? But I think that was super cool how they swooped that in there. Yeah. And for it to kind of continue on, and you're like, oh, man. I mean, for me, basically, because I grew up watching that, so I'm like, oh my goodness, that was like super dope for them to do that.
Yeah.
I really don't look into the details, like who directed it and so. I mean, if I see it, like the only way I saw the trailer for it was because I was swooping through the TV and I saw The Killing Joke, and man, I love all those, watching those like that. I mean, right now you're saying we're both adults. My wife says I'm not an adult. She says I'm a kid. She's got 2 kids, but whatever. But I really, like, I can sit here and I can watch it. I'm like, I'm still like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Like, but I get it. Like, I get it. And I'm like figuring it out when I'm like watching those things, and I put two together. I'm like, okay, this is why people get so mad, because they're like, you see this, you already know how the backstory is. You better bring it. Like, I don't want nothing less. And sometimes we can be selfish, right? Because we're not even directors. We're not even screenwriters, right? And so we don't give it a chance. We really don't give it a chance. And honestly, I was being like that. Everybody knows on the podcast, I was like, I didn't want to give it a chance at all. Yeah. But it's like I saw that second one, The Vengeance trailer. I'm like, okay, all right then. I mean, I guess so. I mean, and honestly, I don't know if you liked what's his name, Ben Affleck.
Affleck,
as Batman or not. I mean,
I did. I really did. My only issue, or my only wish with the whole Zack Snyder thing, was that it didn't take place, that Batman hadn't been Batman for 20 years. Yeah. Before the Justice League got together. I could see 5 years would be good, even stretching it to 10 years. But 20 years when he's already at kind of the lowest point and kind of broken down already and contemplating retiring. Yeah. Then to bring in the Justice League, I was like, that was a little bit too much for me. But when you watch the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, oh my God, that is amazing, man.
It's super good. I love it, guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you guys haven't seen it, you're living under a rock again. But you guys should check it out. But guys, right now we are gonna actually take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with the Batman of San Antonio. All right, guys, we are back from commercial break. Batman, again, I want to thank you again for coming on the DeLoco Podcast. My mind is just blown right now that you're here. But a lot of people are asking, and I'm asking, is what can we expect from the Batman? Like, what is next for the Batman on his booklet, his itinerary? What's next for you?
Man, new suit upgrade. That's a big thing for me. You know,
I love it when you do that. I just want to mention that to you. I love it when you put it out there. And that what's that company that you use for your mask? Because it looks like super sick.
This bad boy is from GC5FX.
GC5FX.
Yeah.
GC5FX, shout out to you, man. You make it look super dope, man. It looks realistic. Guys, if you should be here, it looks super good.
He's actually going to make the body armor suit for me.
Really?
This one, this one's hard. The other one's going to be... Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's why I have such perfect posture. Like, how do you do that?
Oh, my goodness.
The other one's going to be urethane, so it's going to be a little more flexible, and hopefully that one's going to be coming within a month or so, which is going to be really nice.
Yeah.
Other than that, to finish out the month, this is National Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month.
Oh, that's correct. That is correct.
I've been doing a lot of work with a lot of great charities and nonprofits. Putting it out there. Got to protect the children, man.
Yeah.
They're the next generation. They're the heroes of tomorrow. We got to take care of them today. So we're going to finish doing that, and then just taking each day, each month as it comes, once COVID restrictions start, loosening up even more.
Yeah.
There's more opportunity for myself and the Alliance to go out there and just spread more good and positivity, so it changes almost on a daily basis.
And that's another thing, guys. So you guys who don't know, he has an alliance, so he's not just by himself. Can you explain? Yep. That's another thing. How did this alliance come up? Because it looks like the Justice League in real person. So how did this happen?
Even when you first met me, there's always been different iterations of the team. Different heroes, come and go, and they want to do their own thing. Whatever the case may be. This one I was lucky enough. I wanted to start a new team, and I wanted to call us the Alliance. Because everybody needs an ally.
Yeah.
What better allies to have than superheroes?
Yeah.
And so the first guy aboard was Green Arrow. I remember, quick shout out to Green Arrow. You're awesome. We did something with Special Reach, and we were at an event, and it was raining cats and dogs, and that was his very first showing.
Really?
Guys in a leather suit in the rain, and he showed up, and he fit, man.
Oh man!
And I was like, this guy's a keeper, man.
Yeah.
And more so than just being a very good team member, the guy's become a friend. We saw Batman, we saw an advanced showing, just him and me. Two buddies going out watching movies, and we got Wonder Woman. So blessed to have her, man. She is amazing. A buddy of mine, is our Green Lantern. I've got a kid with me. He's not a kid anymore. He's a young man. Nightwing, I've known him since he was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
21 now. 20 going on 22 now.
Dang, that's
so
a while.
There's a lot of longevity and friendship within the team. And then he brought in his girlfriend. She's a lovely young lady as well. And luckily we all love DC Comics, so we all have our DC personas. And when we can all get together and show up, it's amazing to see. But the best thing about that I love my team is it can be just one or two of us, and everybody interacts so well. We've done this so long that we know each other's rhythms and cues, and I know that Batman is not everybody's favorite.
No, I know that.
Can be very intimidating to kids.
Yeah.
And so, that's when Green Arrow steps up, or Wonder Woman steps up, or, Nightwing steps up. And it's just beautiful to see, and I love stepping back, and I love seeing that, because I'm a fan of my team. When I see Wonder Woman, kneel down and she starts, talking to little girls, telling them that they're little Amazon warriors too. Oh man, it just done something to the heart.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to see. So shout out to the Alliance. You guys are awesome, and I love each and every one of you, Nightwing, you included.
Man, it's awesome. So I know earlier you were saying you do birthday parties, you do all kinds of things. So where can people from San Antonio, if they want you to be there, and even with the Alliance, does the Alliance come out with you to birthday parties, or it just depends? Or
it depends, because they have their families and they have their jobs and everything. Like I said, for me this is full time.
Full time.
So if they can come out, join us, they definitely do.
Okay, so then how can someone here in San Antonio reach out to you and just contact you for you to be at a party or just an event in general?
The easiest way to do it, and you found out, email is always going to work best.
Okay.
And that's going to be, at batmanofsanantonio@gmail.com, because I answer those within 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes.
If you try to reach out to me on Facebook, if I'm lucky enough and I can get online, I'll answer. Instagram is probably the worst way because if you don't follow me or I don't follow you, you end up in a spam box.
Yeah, that's how I found out.
It takes me 7 to 9 days to get a hold of you. But again, batmanofsanantonio at Gmail, easiest way to reach me. Because that phone is always going off. Like somebody needs something, somebody is asking for information, and I'm all too happy to give it to them.
Okay, cool. And guys, you can also follow the Batman of San Antonio on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. He's on Twitter, making a difference on the Twitter channel too. So, man, Batman, thank you so very much for, just coming on here. I appreciate it. Thank you for scaring me when I saw the video. A lot of people are like, man, dude, that looks like. I'm like, nah, dude, it's and even at that, you're a tall dude. Everyone knows me. I'm just a little chaparrito, so you're probably like 3 times taller than I am. So I think you're really tall. But how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Oh, that's what I am. But they got confused at the doctors and say I'm 5'6". But it's all right. But it's all good. But I actually have something for you. Oh, that's the reason why I asked you for your size. So,
all right.
Let me get that for you. So, and I actually made this for you.
Oh, man.
This right here is a DeLoco shirt.
Oh, man, that's right crazy cool. Thank you so much.
So this is for you right here.
All right.
That's for you.
All right.
You also get a DeLoco keychain.
Yes.
And then you also get a DeLoco sticker as well.
All right, man. Thank you.
Man, I really, really appreciate you coming on here. You keep making a difference. Like I said, I posted on the other day, you continue to be the change. You continue to inspire people, encourage people. I know sometimes it gets hard because it does. Being in, I can only imagine you doing this daily, being tired from work, being tired from, being a dad, full-time dad. And I give you props, man. I really, really do. Like, this is something that not anybody can do. So that's what I'm saying. I give you the props that you deserve because not anybody can do it. I'm just telling you right now, I wouldn't be able to do it because I get off of work and I try to do it, and then I'm trying to do this, and then by the time you leave, I'm probably gonna get drowsy. So I totally understand it, and it's crazy, guys. His daughter's here, so she's actually sitting back there. She's got her headphones on, but man, I really, really do appreciate it. But guys, thank you guys for tuning in to DeLoco Podcast today, guys. Like I always say, every podcast, God loves you. Dios te ama.
Be the change, and I'll see you soon.
Guys, we will see you guys on the very next podcast.
Estás escuchando DeLoco Podcast.